Hello. Step back. So I wanted to come out and eat by myself again today because yesterday I was home all day and I just felt like I really wanted to get out. So even though it's not that nice outside today, I already took Raleigh for a long walk. I also took her for a fetch session at Barona Reservation. So I was really, really happy to do that with her because it's been several months since we've played fetch. But also, I've mentioned that I'm like really shy about showing my midriff area, especially because I feel like I'm not at the ab level that I want to be at yet. But you know what? I feel like I need to get used to wearing these because I really do enjoy wearing them. And to be honest, it's not looking that bad today, but that's partially because I haven't eaten yet today. So maybe after I eat, it's gonna look much worse. But this is what I'm wearing. I know I wear these heels all the time, but I was trying to wear a different pair and they didn't really go very well with the bottom of these jeans. So, oh well, I'm wearing them again. And who cares if I wear them all the time? Because these are freaking expensive shoes. They need to be worn. And now I'm going to go out and not feel naked that this part is showing. I have never really worn clothing in the past ever in my life that's exposing whatsoever. And I know showing your stomach is like really not that much compared to like cleavage or something. But yeah, this is definitely still new to me. So I am going to leave. So right now it is my lunch break. Wow, stretching so much. And this morning I noticed that she got a little cut on her paw. This left one right here, little redness, probably can't see it, but yeah, it sucks because it was probably some small piece of broken glass on the street. And normally when I walk her, I do look at the ground to make sure that I am helping her to avoid walking into bad stuff, but I must have been bad and missed it. So right now during lunch I am not going to walk her. I'm not actually sure if I'm going to completely stop walking her because obviously when she's walking around the house she's still applying pressure to it, but I guess just like the outdoors is way more unpredictable than just walking around the house. So I won't walk her for this lunch break. Tomorrow I'm not sure, it depends on how well it heals, I suppose. I don't know if you can see that little bit of redness. She's moving around. You silly girl. But yeah, I just ate and we are just sitting here enjoying the breeze and the nice weather. It's nice to spend my lunch with her, walk or not, right? Hi, it's Thursday night. I definitely feel like this week has passed by. This week has passed by really, really quickly, or so it feels that way to me. So admittedly, I have been feeling kind of restless lately. That tends to happen when I feel like my options for what I can do to entertain myself are dwindling. And also, I saw an MMO champion today that they are offering free gameplay for the weekend in WoW. And that's surprising because they don't do that very often. I'm not really sure if they've done it in the past, but what am I gonna do in the game, right? I can't do Mythic Plus because people are going to be checking my score and they're like, oh damn, you're inactive for 2 Mythic Plus seasons or however long it's been since I've quit, and then I won't be invited to groups. And I'm a Shadow Priest, not as likely to be invited to groups. And of course, I mean, it makes sense because it has been quite a while since I played, like over half a year. So I can't expect to just get into good groups with people. It just feels like a lot of the issues that I experienced in the past when I was present and current in the game is still going to be an issue now. So even if I played or not, it's still similar issues regardless. And it's like a random culture that started existing for Mythic Plus that I just really did not like, and I still don't like. So I'm not sure what I can do in the game this weekend that would be fun for me. I have considered playing like another class and seeing if I'll like it, but it seems kind of pointless because leveling on a class is not fun. And I don't have any other classes at max level aside from Druid and Priest. So the only other class I would probably be interested most in trying is Mage, because Mage was like that third class I really loved. I played with mages a lot in Arena and Burning Crusade. One of my most dominant partners, like long-term partners, was a mage. So I just really got to enjoy playing with mages. I really enjoyed their crowd control, and I just think they're a very awesome class. I loved fire mages in Wrath of the Lich King because, what was that thing called again? Hot Streak. I freaking loved Hot Streak. It used to proc pretty often, and it was so fun having instant cast fireballs, and then living bombs exploding on massive trash packs for a shitload of damage because there was no limit on how many living bombs you could place on mobs. So that's an idea, but I doubt that it will come to fruition because there's just nothing to do in WoW. There's 2 more months before the next expansion, and so the thing is, I mean, once in a while people would ask me if I planned on playing it, and my gut instinct is just that I do think realistically, long term, that game will just not be for me. It's going to be similar to Path of Exile, I think, where initially when it comes out, it'll be nice to have something to play and something to do, but in the long run, I don't see it really lasting for me because I don't see myself raiding. Maybe I'll change my mind if the game turns out to be that fun for me. That would be a very big surprise. But I just I don't think it will happen because the whole community and having fun issue in a raid will still be the same because I know people can say that I can change the way I approach the game when it comes to like joining a guild and getting to know the guild members and being friends with them, right? And doing stuff with the guild members, but that all takes a lot of work, a lot more work than I think I'm willing to put in. And plus, like, you know, even though it has been a decade since I've been playing games, I just don't think that things have really changed that much. So for me, I actually still, to this day, do not like revealing my gender online. And I only do it if it's inevitable. Like if we got on Discord for Mythic Plus in the past, like I have to talk. So then people will find out I'm a female. But until we get on Discord, they shouldn't know unless someone in the party knows me personally and then they use my name. In Dota, I don't really talk much. I never use my mic unless we join Discord, and I only join Discord if it's with people I know, and I still don't talk very much. So just in general, I don't know. I don't really like making myself known too much. So if I were to join a guild and try to, you know, be overly friendly and social and try to befriend everybody, that's just not who I am. I think I used to be that person a little bit in the past. Actually, no, I can't say that I used to be like that in the past. In the past, I think it felt like it was easier for me to get to know people in the game because the server community was just different. So you would always come across like certain people. You would see people around cities on a mount or wearing gear that was very prestigious. So you would like admire them, right? A lot of people I kind of met under those circumstances, and those are similar to the way that I view romance, right? They're all chance encounters, or they just happen kind of naturally, organically because of like location or situations or scenarios or any of that, and it's not forced. I think it's just natural interest or curiosity that would perhaps make me talk to somebody. Like for example, someone that I distinctly remember was a night elf warrior in my server at the time during, I'd say, yes, it was Burning Crusade. And this was the period when I was still climbing in arenas. I wasn't gladiator yet, but I was, I think I was starting to improve, but at the same time, I did not have my weapon. Weapon at the time was 2200 rating before you could purchase it, and shoulders was 2000. So I don't remember if I was like above 2000 and not at 2200 yet, but I remembered seeing this Night Elf Warrior in Ironforge, and he had the season 3, I think it's season 3 mace on a warrior, which was the one that had the purple tip that kind of like circled around. And it was the two-handed mace that had the chance to bash, which a lot of warriors used at the time. So I just remembered seeing him in like full arena gear, and his tune looked very cool. So I think that was what compelled me to whisper him and talk to him. And I like it when stuff happens like that. I got to know a lot of people that PvP'd on the server just naturally, because that was something that I was doing a lot at the time. And as I got better, people started to recognize my name, and they would start asking me for advice, or like, I just thought it was a really cool sense of community that existed back then, and that just doesn't happen anymore at all. I guess people can still feel a sense of community in a guild, but I've just never been that type of person. And I also am not the type of person that likes a lot of attention on me, so I would not talk in voice during raids, not really, unless I felt like it was important to call out. So for example, when I was raiding with Astral during Legion, this was like the second guild that I was in, and I was raiding with them during Emerald Nightmare and onward for a little bit. So I just remember for one of the bosses, I freaking forget her name, but it was the dumb siren lady that had half her body. That was all you were fighting, the top half of her body. Oh, damn it, I forget her name, but it was the dumb boss lady at the end of Maw of Souls, the bitch. But yeah, so when we were fighting her, me and this other shadow priest were on mass dispel duty, and we would coordinate who would be casting the next one. So for stuff like that, I am totally okay with calling that out, because me calling that out would contribute to us having smoother pulls and then leading to the boss hopefully going down. So times like that, I'm okay with doing it, but I got so sidetracked, sorry. But yeah, I feel like in order for me to raid again, I need 10 mans, and I need a good amount of people in this raid group to be people I know well, I hope, and people I'm friendly with. And I think that's just kind of the way I am. Whenever I think of group hangouts in real life, unless I know a good amount of the people there, I just don't see myself enjoying myself, because I personally have not done group hangouts in a very long time. I'd say work hangouts are kind of, I don't feel like work hangouts really count, because if you agree to go to a work hangout, a lot of them are people you don't know, but you kind of just go because you want to sort of look good for your manager, or you feel a little obligated at times, just not to be that person who's like antisocial or anything. So I've done a few of those, but they have not been frequent at all. So I'd say, at least since I've moved here, I don't remember any group hangouts at all. Yeah, I don't think I've done any. And I just feel like I can't be myself if a lot of the people I don't know, because for me to really be comfortable with talking and enjoying conversation, I have to know the person well enough to know what my limits are for what I get to say, or what type of jokes I can make. So with certain people, I guess I kind of realize it with my coworker, where it's like, I guess over time, after talking to him for a bit, I know that I can say like the dumbest things to make as a joke, and he wouldn't like make me feel bad about it in any way. And even if he kind of like jokingly criticizes me for saying it, it's still in a way where I felt comfortable and I don't mind that I just said what I did, because I don't know, it's just something you have with somebody, right? You only learn that through time and experience with someone. So if there's a bunch of new people at a group hangout, I won't feel compelled to just strike up a conversation with a bunch of random people. I mean, I've done it before. I guess I still do manage to enjoy myself, but it's just not my preference. So once again, sidetracked from the topic of WoW raiding and guilds, but yeah, I don't think raiding is a possibility for me. I don't know how extensive I've talked about PvP, but I can't see PvP ever being at a state where I would really enjoy it again, because it has been years since it has been going in a direction that I'm not really fond of, which is a lot of hybrid classes have insane healing abilities, and I don't understand why they did something like that. Like, feral druids were able to heal very well because they got their instant cast from like 5 combo point. This was a while ago, so I don't know if it's still like this, but they were able to heal well. Boomkins were able to heal well, and classes just started getting like some sort of survival abilities that would heal them up for a bit, and I don't like that, because back then I loved the idea of like these 2 DPS classes on a timer trying to kill a healer DPS 2's composition, for example, under a certain amount of time before they were killed. So whenever it was like feral rogue or double rogue or mage rogue, those popular combos, I loved facing those comps, because it was a big challenge for me to stay alive from all that burst damage and just a lot of damage incoming, and me trying to utilize my cooldowns in a way that would guarantee that I'd stay alive, or like my partner would try their best to peel for me, and we would take note of like when somebody used trinket, that way we know when our CC would last full duration on somebody. It's just like aspects like that I really, really enjoyed. But then later on, as they just changed things in a direction I didn't like, feral rogue would take a long time to play against, because they would heal each other up, and it's like they had a healer on their team that could deal very good damage, and it pissed me off. I did not enjoy playing really long matches. And I know people can say that Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King had long arena matches. Yeah, of course. Druid Warlock was the worst composition in history. I hated the shit out of that, because I played Priest Mage, and it was very difficult to beat that composition, because we had to kill the pet because of that freaking Soul Link shit. And Druids were super OP because their hots would tick very fast. Warlocks would not take a lot of damage. It's just a whole lot of junk. But yes, just in general, like arenas, unfortunately, like I loved arenas. I loved the aspect of communicating and trying to work as a team to win. Like I really, really loved arenas back then. BC and Wrath were really fun times for me. But nowadays, arena's just not the same. I mean, Battlegrounds, I could have some fun in Battlegrounds, because one of the things I liked the most about Battlegrounds was when I was able to heal bot a warrior. And I thought it was interesting that it was specifically just warriors. I mean, when I did a Battlegrounds with my mage partner at the time, it was fun too, but like warriors they just felt different, because if you kept them dispelled and you let them wreak havoc, they would just do a lot of damage. And they also peeled pretty well. So back then, or even like sometime recent, if I ever had a warrior friend that I could heal bot, I would always be super excited about it, because I found it like so much fun, where I would try to keep somebody alive and they would just deal a lot of damage. They would just kill a shitload of people. And at times it would feel like that just you and this warrior would be very big factors, or you would make a huge difference in that one battleground, because you guys play well and just like know who to focus and stuff like that. So that is small other case where I could see myself enjoying the game. It just really depends on what the game has to offer, and I honestly didn't bother reading about like what new features or if there's anything new that they're adding aside from the races stuff. I actually don't know much about that because I I just feel like there's so many allied races that they're adding in that are going to be playable. It just seems a little strange to me how much there will be, because usually it was like 2 at a time, one for Alliance, one for Horde, but now it's like a lot. So I have always been that person who has not really been that keen on new changes. So I always like to stick with what I started off with. So I was always a human priest. At least that's what I made Alessandra as in the very, very beginning. She was human priest, and I like human priests because they're pretty. They look like the best race. I mean, night elves look cool, of course, and gnomes are adorable. I love gnomes, but their height issue with line of sight on staircases, I'm not dealing with that shit. So I'm never gonna be a gnome priest again. But yeah, I mean, just like I'm quite attached to humans because I've been that race for very long, and they have a good racial. They've had good racials for like the past few years because every man for himself used to be really good because they would just count as a trinket for PvP, and that was so OP that you were able to use 2 trinkets, whereas other other races had to always reserve a slot for trinket. So that is nice. Plus, even in Legion, the latest expansion, having every man for himself for stuns is amazing. There were so many uses for it, and I freaking loved it. So I know that some of the other racials, like Void Blink for Void Elves, sounds very good. So I guess like it might be worth trying out. But the thing is, I never necessarily race changed for the best advantage. Of course, if you're super try hard, you would want to do that. But I just feel like I just kind of lucked out in a sense, where humans racially, for what I've been doing, like PvP in the past, humans were very strong. And then for raiding, I mean, I'm not going to go Horde for like the troll racial, I think is the one that's very good. So for raiding, I just stayed human. I don't really know if there was like that big of a DPS difference amongst the races for me to switch to. So, damn, I rambled like crazy. My throat is starting to get like raspy and stuff. Anyways, overall, now that I've talked a lot about WoW, yeah, I've been kind of bored, trying to figure out how I can keep my nights exciting. I don't want to feel bored to the point where I start questioning how I live my life, because I know that, like, of course I am happy and I like to I definitely feel confident in the choices I make and stuff like that, but I do think it is a little bit normal for people to kind of like question how they're spending their time if they're feeling bored regularly. So that's just what I want to avoid. I think feeling bored is kind of inevitable if you usually have a set few things that you tend to do. So if I only game and watch movies and TV shows, and right now gaming for me is like very, very on the down low, I don't play it very often, then it puts a lot of pressure for me to entertain myself through watching stuff, which can get difficult because I've seen nearly every single movie. And of course, I have been watching movies that I've seen before way more lately, because seeing movies that I've seen before definitely guarantees that I enjoy it, especially if I pick one that I like, obviously. So yeah, I've been doing that a little more lately, but definitely trying to fit in those new movies. So roundabout way of basically saying that tonight, I have decided to try something new where I think I'm going to watch a TI, the International for Dota 2, Grand Final for 2016 because that year was the year of Wings Gaming, which is a team from China that came from the TI qualifiers. They weren't a team that were really dominant in the circuit before TI of that year. They just kind of like came out of nowhere, and then they were very dominant at the main event for TI. And then they won first place. Yeah, without any pro Dota until TI, which is August 20th. I gotta watch some old footage. So that is what I'm going to be doing tonight. I definitely rambled a lot in this segment, so sorry about that. But I have a lot of nostalgia for WoW. Trust me, even though in my other video, I know I talked a lot about like all the things I didn't like about WoW, but WoW, I do think even to this day, WoW was, I guess, my favorite game of all time because it definitely gave me the most fun memories I've ever had playing a video game. I just think there were so many things that were so exciting during that time. I was always so happy to play. I was so happy and excited to interact with all the friends that I was talking to online. And that level of competitiveness, for that level of competition for PvP and Arena, I don't think I've had that previously at all in anything. So it was really exciting for me to dedicate myself to improving in that aspect, and then obtaining my goal of Gladiator, and then managing to obtain the title several times afterwards. Like, that just felt really good. I liked that aspect, knowing that if I dedicated myself and if I tried to improve, that I would manage to obtain something that was actually quite difficult for a lot of the players. All right, I'm going to get to watching that Wings Gaming final. I hope people are having a good week. It has definitely been going by fast for me.